back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Malik Washington, Miami Dolphins wide receiver, and he's shown off through these first 2 weeks to be like a rising star. Not many positives overall to take away for the Dolphins, but Malik Washington is one of them. Has some exceptional play. Special teams, he had that big punt return in week 2. Almost, if the Dolphins didn't give a kick return immediately after, would have been a potential, game winner right there, but just great job showing off his skill set. The Dolphins have been using him in some fun ways as like a gadget type of player, getting some snaps at running back. He's showing off some route running chops as well. The change of directness, shiftiness, ability to sink those hips is good. Has phenomenal contact balance, ability to break tackles. Really, really fun player to watch in that regard. I love his contact balance. But even just like winning isolated reps with route running, working into blind spots, being a reliable hands receiver, they found a lot of fun usage for him, and at least one of the things is going my way because Malik Washington's one of my favorite players on the team, one of my favorite draft picks the Dolphins have made in recent times, and he's clearly showing that he's worth it, especially for a 6th rounder. And it's been fun to watch. Like he's kind of been the RB2 of the team. Like he's gotten more carries than even Ollie Gordon. Making an impact as a receiver, doing some things, in the slot, on the outside, special teams, just kind of making impacts in multiple different ways. So yeah, we go back to that the biggest play obviously was that punt return. Returning this, around 70 something yards there for the touchdown. So he catches this, and kind of just the blocking is set up to work here to the right. He could try going to the left, but this guy has the angle to really slow him down out here. I like that he just gets upfield, avoids the first guy. He always does a great job making the first guy miss. And the fact that he stays on his feet here shows phenomenal balance because he kind of gets his feet taken out from underneath him, able to regain that balance, take off the contact, spin back out of it, and just making a creative play sometimes like that because things get messy. The fact that he takes on, gets hit there by a few different people, creates this huge pile up. People don't see him, and he's able to sneak out of it, get to the left, show off some speed. Not like a blazer or anything. I think he's quicker than he is fast, but enough speed to get around the punter, break through that tackle, and now he's off into the end zone. He's a very difficult player to get to the ground. Just a combination of that contact balance and I think hip fluidity being a little bit shifty makes that a very good player that can constantly make the first person miss. Now this play didn't count. Unfortunately, a couple of Malik's plays have been called back from penalties. He gets called for the forward motion there they call him with an illegal shift. This penalty could be on Malik. It also could be potentially on the center or Tua if they got the snap off a bit late. Either way, I don't really think it affects the play that much, but it does show off his ability to be running at full speed like this and to sink those hips and completely change directions to get out of it from this positioning. The fact that he changes, sinks those hips and gets out of it from the opposite direction, going into a 90-degree angle is super impressive. That hip flexibility, down low like that, change directions, get away, and then catch the ball fully extended. That's another good part of his game is he does have, for a smaller receiver, guy that's almost built like a running back, he does have very strong hands, can make some tough catches away from the frame like that, prepared to take a hit, fall forward, but I really like the route, on the move, beating man-to-man coverage. That's something, sometimes his type of player I think can maybe struggle with a bit, more known for being a yak guy, more known for taking advantage of the underneath zones, but being able to win some man versus man reps, very important part of Malik games that I think can elevate him to the next level, because I do think he's going to be a good player for Miami, overall. I'm saying rising star. I'm not sure he'll ever reach star level, but he is definitely on that rise, and really fun usage here. Lined up in the slot, they motion him around, basically turn into an orbit motion. Ollie Gordon turns to the lead. They got the pin pull concepts going on. You get Malik out to the edge. It just catches defense off guard, and you'll see some of the fun usage where you can just hand him the ball off in the backfield, and the way that then you can build off of that to get him matchups on linebackers, in coverage. It also, teams might play lighter boxes when you got a receiver like that in the backfield, no running back on the field. Can just really give you more mismatches to take advantage of as an offensive play caller. And he finishes hard, runs hard, gets to that first sort of tackle, 28 dives at his legs. He's going to, pick up his feet there, show some good feel, and then fall forward. Good job there from Malik. here on the outside. This was a one play that didn't end up being completed. I think, Tua slightly missed him here. He almost came down with it, but he clearly shows a great route. One-on-one on the outside, which is a big bonus for Malik because he was more known being, for that slot receiver. One-on-one does a really good job, I think, with his tempo in the route, like good route tempo, and then good job just working into blind spots. So he starts out angling this route slightly to the outside, and then boom, as soon as he gets the corner to open up his hips out there, he attacks back to the inside, gets vertical, sells like he really sells vertical route here, gets him to turn back his hips open the other way, and then boom, sink those hips hard and get out of the break efficiently. Just barely, he makes the full extension and does hold on to the ball. He's just not able. I think his front side hits before that knee does, unfortunately. And the ball was probably a little too far out wide for how much separation he ended up creating. But yeah, just some of the things that I'm seeing Malik do in those situations, running routes, past 10 yards in like man-to-man situations and like creating separation like that. Oh, that was something Malik really needed to do to actually establish himself as like a true receiver in this league, not just, maybe a guy that's going to be used as a gadget. But the fact that he can do that and the gadget stuff, ooh, it's exciting because you can get him like this. Having him lined up outside like here, it can give you matchups on a linebacker. Like shows up like, ooh, that linebacker's got to get kind of wide, bounce, Malik back. You think they're light in the box here too. Malik has gotten some pretty light boxes when he is the running back there, just based on, how teams want to play that. Love this work where you get like the pin pull from the guards. You basically have the center and tackle insert, and you just have to kind of work off the back. You're kind of leading with Brewer here as like a lead blocker. Work off the back of that, Jackson. And then look at him carry this like 90. A defensive tackle gets his hand on the nameplate. A potential horse collar could have been, maybe drawn. But the fact that he's able to work, look at him work through this contact. He's getting grabbed here. At about like the 38-ish, he starts to get grabbed, maybe even a little earlier. And the fact that he carries that forward and doesn't go down easily and, ends up getting about an extra, 5-6 yards on that. Very, very impressed with Malik and that stuff. I love his play strength and contact balance. You got to be able to hold up for some, if you're like the smaller guys that maybe aren't not like the elite athletes in terms of like speed and stuff. You got to have that level of toughness and play strength. And he makes a good work after the catch. Like here on the screen, he can just tell like this screen is set up to break this to the inside, and they actually do have the blocks if this ball is thrown, more accurately. But this is thrown back here, and he's able to feel this great feel because it is set up for him to break to the inside. But he can feel this guy coming in unblocked. The tight end's not going to be able to get there. His momentum being shifted away from that, it's not going to allow him to shift inside enough in time. So he spins out of it and then accelerates to get upfield and just fall for it. Like that should be a play that never really works out for you. But he just does a lot of you as a player, if you can turn nothing into something, that's always a big positive. And I think that's something Malik could potentially bring to the team. Like I'm saying, Dolphins come out like this. Look how light this box is. When are you ever seeing a 5-man box pretty much? This linebacker is super wide. You get the trips. Them having A-chain out here is like, okay, we're going to get this linebacker out here so we can match this up to get, a potential stop the screen. And you just get a nice little handoff to Malik. He runs forward, pick up a nice gain of like 5-6 yards. The fact that you can hand it off to him and he makes at least solid vision reads, you feel his comfortability on returns with like field vision and stuff like that so that he can make decent like decisions. Like he's never going to be like a true running back, but the fact that you can give him those types of touches can be pretty valuable in certain spots and can keep you ahead of downs to pick up, a nice like 5-6 yard gain there, especially on 2nd and 10. Because like 1st and 10, you're probably going to see a little more people in the box, and that could have been a potential bigger gain if they get those looks again. Maybe if it's just like boom, maybe Paul's attached for half a second longer, fall forward for around 10. Lots of opportunities there, and then last play here. This is another play that got negated for Malik, unfortunately, because of an offensive holding. But just like the way you can use him, I talked about him being a potential Jonnu. Like he's not going to be a Jonnu replacement, but he is one of the guys going to get some of the Jonnu type of reps. This is a play last year where the Dolphins would kind of fake toss one way. They would bring the pulling guard there. They get all of the flow going to one side of the field. They do a great job horizontally going that way. And then the receiver, the quick option, are working back to the other side of the field. Tua sells that. He kind of resets and goes to the other side, and you got to just get his face across this linebacker and he does a great job getting across that hook right there. Able to catch it too, solid catch, like because he has to like readjust his route, and Tua kind of has to do a little bit of a hesitation because he wants to make sure Malik catches this, and he wants to get him on a better path. Actually, probably throws it where he should throw it, just in case don't want to lead it out, maybe get knocked down by a D tackle there. Throw it, but it's nice to see him making a not super. I mean, it's a catch every receiver should make, but he makes it look super natural. Flip your hips at the exact same time you catch it, and then just get upfield. That was actually a huge play in the game that got called back because your chances of scoring a touchdown here after this play would have been very, very high, and they end up having to settle for a field goal because of that penalty. So loved Malik Washington's usage that in the Patriots game. You could see the potential too for what they were trying to do in the Colts game. Just weren't able to quite get anything going offensively. Once they were able to get things going offensively, you can see the potential role Malik has. He's clearly like the third receiver target out of the receiver group. I mean, Achan, kind of him, or probably around the even level when it comes to like receiving targets after Waddle and Reek. And then Malik kind of has become your RB2. He's gets a lot of solid returns, especially punt return wise. It seemed like Eskridge is getting more of the kick returns as of now, but he's still getting some solid kick returns. Nothing too crazy as of yet, but we know he has some value there based on last season. So leave a like, comment on the video, all of that good stuff for the algorithm. Dolphins play the Bills on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, that's where we're at with this kind of this season right now. Hopefully, maybe they get we get lucky as fans and something somehow turns around, and it can at least be exciting and feel like you can have a chance or like somewhat of a chance to at least fight for like a playoff spot. I mean, it doesn't feel like that right now, obviously, and I don't think it will feel like that after the Bills game. But at least we'll have individual players, guys that we can see being long-term options for this team, even with new regime. That is going to be a very I know a lot of people want to start over, and I do think that is the correct move for this team after this season, especially with where they're at right now. I mean, we'll see what changes things, and it depends on who they bring in, but that will be one of the biggest topics of this offseason with who they bring in, who actually fits, because a lot of these players are very specific to this offense, so that will be a big question mark, and why I think it might take a little while to turn things around. But if you get lucky, you can turn things around. I haven't felt that before, but make sure to like, comment, subscribe to see